PE class. Hell. Josh already hated sports, but gym class with Zeke? A whole different circle of Dante's Inferno.
"Pair up," the coach shouted.
No, Josh said immediately. Yes, Zeke said at the same time, grinning. Jake, conveniently, had already paired up with someone else, the traitor. Josh stood beside Zeke on the court, stretching. Don't ogle me. Not ogling, just wondering how a princess like you handles sweat. You're obsessed with me, Josh spat. Zeke smirked, leaning in again. Maybe I am. Josh pushed him lightly on the chest. Go fall in love with your own reflection, Narcissus. Jealous? I get it. You want to be the one I look at. Josh's fingers clenched. He wanted to scream, to throw a dumbbell at him. Because yes, he did want that. For years. The coach's whistle blows. All right, everyone, we're doing partner drills today. Passing, blocking, and some light sparring. Let's get moving. Josh groaned internally. Sparring? With Zeke? Great. Zeke clapped his hands together. Ready, princess. Don't call me that, Josh snapped. What? It's fitting. You're delicate, graceful, and probably have a tiara hidden somewhere. Josh rolled his eyes. Keep talking and I'll show you how delicate I am. They began the drills, passing the ball back and forth. Zeke's throws were deliberately forceful, making Josh work harder to catch them. Trying to impress me with your strength? Josh taunted. Just making sure you're paying attention, Zeke replied, smirking. As they moved into blocking drills, the physical proximity increased. Zeke's hands occasionally brushed against Josh's arms, and their bodies collided during mock tackles. Watch it, Josh warned after one particularly close encounter. Can't help it if you're always in my way, Zeke retorted. During a brief break, Zeke leaned in, ostensibly to adjust his shoelaces, but his face ended up inches from Josh's. You smell good, Zeke commented casually. Josh blinked. Excuse me? Your scent. It's nice. What is that? Josh hesitated. Just my cologne. Zeke nodded, a strange look in his eyes. Figures. Sweet and intoxicating, just like you. Josh's heart skipped a beat, but he masked it with a scoff. You're ridiculous. As the class continued, the drills became more intense. Sweat-slicked skin, erratic breathing, bodies clashing, hands grabbing. The gym echoed with sneakers squeaking on polished floors and the occasional bark from Coach Ortega. During a grappling exercise, Josh lunged forward, trying to take Zeke down first, but Zeke was faster, stronger, unfairly so. He twisted around Josh's frame and spun him with practiced ease, using Josh's momentum against him until they both slammed onto the mat. Zeke landed on top, pinning Josh beneath him. Gotcha, Zeke murmured, voice low and husky, his breath ghosting against Josh's ear like a sin. He was barely holding himself up, elbows on either side of Josh's head, chest to chest, hips. Josh's body tensed. Get off me, he growled, his tone sharp, defensive. But Zeke didn't move right away. For a fleeting second, everything froze. The coach's whistle, the sound of sneakers, the world, all of it dulled under the heat pulsing between them.
Zeke's eyes bore into Josh's, and then he noticed it.
That mole just beneath Josh's left eye. The subtle scar on his bottom lip that only became visible when he bit it, like he was doing now. The way his lashes curled naturally, fanned over flushed cheeks that were turning the color of ripe cherries. Damn, Zeke swallowed. His throat went dry. He didn't know when it started, this obsessive cataloging of Josh's face like it was art behind glass. But here he was. And the longer he stared, the more unbearable it became. Why is your face like that? Zeke thought. So annoyingly perfect, nose sharp, lips pouty, and that skin, milky, flushed like it'd taste sweet if I just... He blinked, hard. Nope, not going there. He felt hot, really hot, and thirsty. God. Why was he so thirsty? He was so caught up in his internal spiral that he didn't notice Theo, one of his loudmouthed friends, stumbling backward after being pushed by Coach to get your form right. Thud. Bam! Theo's shoulder bumped hard into Zeke's back, causing Zeke to completely lose his balance. And fall. Right onto Josh. Lips first. Smack. The entire gym went silent for 1 second. Then, whoa! Let's go, Zeke. OMG, did they just kiss? Kiss more! Kiss more! Kiss more! Someone actually whistled like they were at a concert. Another kid started clapping. Coach Ortega yelled, "Focus," but even he looked vaguely amused. Zeke hovered inches above Josh, stunned. Josh lay wide-eyed beneath him, lips parted in shock, Zeke's lips having pressed perfectly onto his just a heartbeat ago. Heat exploded across Josh's face. His milky skin turned crimson, full-on tomato red. He shoved Zeke off with all the strength he could muster and scrambled to sit upright, panting. "It was an accident!" Josh shouted at everyone, voice cracking like glass. "An accident. We didn't shut up, all of you." "Looked pretty mutual to me," Ramon chimed in from the side, slapping Theo on the back. Jake nearly choked on his water, caught between cheering and dying. Josh glared at Zeke. Heart, murderous. Face-burning, jaw-clenching, murderous. Zeke, on the other hand, looked smug. He was brushing off his shirt again, trying and failing to suppress a grin. "You okay, princess?" he asked in a deliberately innocent tone, lips twitching upward. "You seemed flustered." Josh looked like he was about to explode. "Don't talk to me," he hissed through clenched teeth. Zeke raised both hands in mock surrender, then added loud enough for the entire gym to hear, "You taste like strawberries, by the way." The gym erupted again. Josh's face was a forest fire now. He stood up, picked up his towel, and stormed off to the showers, his walk stiff and furious. "Definitely gonna kill me tomorrow," Zeke muttered, grinning to himself as he watched him go. But he couldn't deny the flutter in his chest, nor the way his lips still tingled. In the locker room, Josh tried to avoid Zeke like the plague. He lingered near the benches, tying and retying his shoelaces, even though he hadn't taken them off yet. But fate, cruel as always, had a flair for dramatic timing. Their lockers were adjacent. Of course they were. Great, Josh muttered under his breath. Zeke strutted in moments later, towel slung low on his hips, hair still damp from the quick rinse in the showers. Water dripped down his bare chest, trailing along defined pecs and sculpted abs, like gravity itself was doing a slow appreciation of his body. Josh immediately turned his head. Nope. No. Absolutely not going there. But his peripheral vision betrayed him. That V-line, the strong, veined forearms, and why was Zeke's bicep flexing just to open his locker? Why did he smell so good? Musky, clean, and something masculine. Raw. Addictive. Zeke caught him looking. He smirked. "Don't worry, I won't peek." Josh flinched, caught. He glared at Zeke with as much venom as he could muster. "You're insufferable." Zeke casually reached for his deodorant and shrugged. "And yet, you can't stay away." Josh fumbled with the zipper of his duffel bag, hands shaking slightly. He hated how easily Zeke got under his skin. He hated that his heart was pounding. He hated, God, he hated. "See something you like?" Zeke asked, voice like silk over steel. He had turned slightly, exposing his full profile, broad chest, 8-pack abs, droplets of water still sliding down the cut of his torso. Josh swallowed too loudly. "In your dreams," he snapped. Zeke leaned closer, just an inch from his face, his grin positively sinful. "Maybe." Josh was about to whip out another insult when he made a fatal error. He muttered under his breath, "That accidental kiss? Disgusting." Wrong move. Before he could take another breath, Zeke shoved the locker door shut with a clang, trapping Josh between the cool metal and Zeke's heated body. Zeke's forearm braced beside Josh's head, the other still holding the towel at his waist, though barely. His skin gleamed under the harsh fluorescent lights. And his expression? Predatory. Josh froze. Chest to chest, muscle to everything. Zeke's skin was warm. His scent was stronger this close. Natural, heady, a mix of soap and something Josh could only describe as Zeke. And those armpits, God. Zeke's arm was lifted slightly, and Josh got the full assault of taut muscle, a wisp of dark hair, and masculine heat. He was sweating. He was panicking. His heart was sprinting a marathon. Zeke tilted his head slightly, his lips brushing Josh's ear. "You admiring my body, sweetheart?" he murmured, voice low and smug. Josh said nothing. He couldn't. His brain was buffering. Zeke chuckled. "If you want to touch, just say please, Josh." Josh's cheeks burned, inferno level. He snapped back to reality, gathering all the anger, pride, and chaos swirling in his chest. "If I wanted to touch garbage, I'd dig through the trash, Zeke." Silence. Zeke's smirk disappeared. His eyes darkened, not with hurt, but with something more dangerous. And then, Zeke grabbed Josh's face and kissed him. Heart! There was no warning, no hesitation, just lips crashing into lips, hot and hungry and furious. Teeth grazed skin, tongues clashed. Josh gasped against Zeke's mouth, fists bunching at Zeke's towel-clad waist, but he didn't push him away. Not immediately. They broke apart after long seconds, both panting. Josh's lips were red and kiss-swollen. Zeke's chest heaved, nostrils flaring, towel barely hanging on.
Say it, Zeke growled. You liked it. You like being kissed by me, Josh. Admit it.
Josh stared at him, heart beating like a drum solo, chest rising and falling. And then, wham! Josh shoved Zeke hard, sending him stumbling a step back. And without missing a beat, he slapped him across the face, loud, sharp, echoing. Zeke's cheek turned pink from the force. Bastard! Josh spat, chest trembling with rage and want. Zeke touched his cheek with 2 fingers, then looked at Josh, smirking. But this time it held something deeper. Darker. Worth it. Josh grabbed his bag, still breathless, and stormed out of the locker room, leaving behind a very amused, very turned-on Zeke and his barely holding-on towel. Later that evening in Josh and Jake's dorm, Josh sat rigid on his bed, legs crossed under him, glaring at absolutely nothing, just his pillow like it had personally offended him. He kept replaying the day's chaos in his mind like a scene from a bad romantic comedy directed by the devil himself. That kiss in the gym, that kiss in the locker room. The second one was worse, too hot, too intense, too real, and way too on purpose. He yanked the hood of his sweatshirt over his head and groaned into the fabric. Why does this guy keep messing with me? The door creaked open and Jake walked in, whistling a cheerful little tune as he tossed his gym bag to the floor. He didn't even need to look at Josh to sense something was brewing. Whoa, Jake said, pulling off his hoodie. You look like someone drop-kicked your soul. Josh yanked the hood tighter over his face. Don't talk to me! Jake plopped down on his own bed, stretching. Let me guess. Zeke? Josh didn't answer right away. Rough day? Jake asked more gently this time. Josh finally pulled the hoodie off and threw it across the room. Zeke! He spat like it was a curse word. Jake tried not to grin. He failed. Oh, right. Jake sat up straighter, his eyes gleaming with mischief. That little incident in PE class today, you know, where your lips met Prince assholes in front of everyone. Josh's face turned red. It was an accident. Jake wiggled his eyebrows. Was it, though? Because from my angle, it looked like fate or gravity really wanted you two to have a moment. Josh grabbed a pillow and hit Jake with it. Shut up! Jake laughed, dodging the attack. You should have seen your face, bro. You looked like your soul left your body. Meanwhile, Zeke, smug bastard, looked like he won the lottery. Josh growled. Because he lives to humiliate me, and now everyone thinks we're ugh. Jake chuckled, flipping onto his stomach, propping his chin up with both hands like he was watching the drama unfold live. You liked it, though, Jake teased. I did not, Josh snapped so fast his voice cracked. Jake let out a delighted laugh. Oh my God, you so did! You were blushing so hard, I thought your face was gonna catch fire. Josh clenched the pillow and muttered under his breath. Jake stopped laughing when he saw Josh's shoulders slump. His smile faded a bit. Hey, you okay? Josh was quiet for a moment, chewing on his bottom lip. Then he said softly, Why does he always do this, Jake? Jake blinked. Do what? Why does Zeke always mess with me, tease me, flirt like it's some game? Josh's voice was shaking, not with anger this time, but with something raw. And today, why did he kiss me again in the locker room? Jake straightened, serious now. Wait, what? Josh didn't look at him. He stared at his hands instead. After PE, when everyone left, we argued. He pinned me to my locker. And then he just kissed me. Again. For real this time. Not an accident. Jake stared at his best friend, completely thrown off. Hold up. Are you telling me Zeke kissed you again, alone, and on purpose? Josh nodded slowly, the heat creeping back into his cheeks. And it wasn't like the first one. It was intense. Like, really intense. And when I tried to push him away, he told me to admit I liked it. Jake's jaw dropped. Dude! Josh groaned and buried his face into his hands. I slapped him, okay? I slapped him after. But my head is still spinning. I don't understand why he's doing this to me. Jake sat beside him again, more serious now. Josh, look at me. Josh peeked through his fingers. I think Zeke doesn't hate you. I think he might actually like you. Josh scoffed. You think messing with me every day and making out with me randomly is what liking looks like? Jake shrugged. Some people flirt like jerks. Josh dropped his hands, looking heartbroken. Then why does it feel like I'm the only one who's confused? Why does he get to kiss me and walk away like nothing happened? Jake put a hand on his shoulder. Because he's a cocky bastard who probably hasn't figured out his own feelings yet. Josh blinked slowly. You sound like you've thought about this. Jake smiled gently. I think you've thought about it more than me. Josh sighed and leaned against Jake's shoulder. This isn't fair. Jake rested his head lightly against Josh's. I know, but I also know this. Zeke might be an idiot, but you're smart, and you know how you feel. That's something. Josh closed his eyes. He hated how true that sounded.